year. And I remember the match with Alex Higgins he played, which was one of the great classics at the Crucible, all those centuries that Alex Higgins made, and all the clearances, many clearances from 60 behind that Terry put in. Fantastic snooker match. This has just drifted too far.
26.
He's unlucky to finish there. The cue ball had to cover a lot of ground and has just drifted behind the pink. So the break will come to an end as you can pull something out fairly miraculously. Just playing the safety shot for now. One thing you can say though, Maguire's safety has been extremely good. It's very noticeable in the match where he eventually beat Judd Trump close. I suppose you could argue that both these players have had one escape. The O'Sullivan-Higginson match where Higginson was 4-0 up was the main one.
Well, black over the pocket, more pertinently, cue ball in behind yellow.
Yeah, he's in trouble here, but he was also in trouble in that match against Judd Trump when he trailed 4-2, Maguire, and eventually won on the black in the final frame. So they've both had let-offs, haven't they? I suppose the black going right over the pocket is not actually against Maguire. If he could just get to brush into those reds below the pink, little bunch of about 5 reds, wouldn't be that bad. Playing around 2 cushions into them. If he left something to the right middle, I think Ronnie will have to just try and drop this in. He wouldn't have to do anything with the cue ball whatsoever because, of course, the black is over the pocket.
One of those shots, though, that looks easy on your screen, but it's a very acute angle. Accuracy needed. Accuracy delivered.
Yes, it was certainly, as you rightly say, an acute angle. It helped, though, that he didn't have to do anything whatsoever with the cue ball, just dropping it in. Don't necessarily think that would be an O'Sullivan shot. He likes to do more than just pot a single ball. But it amounts to a good opportunity.
8. No. You
get the sense with O'Sullivan that he came here with a point to prove.
17.
Lots of people who didn't really understand the rankings were sort of writing him off, saying he was struggling for his top 16 place and all of that. As Neil has pointed out through the course of the tournament, one of the reasons why he is struggling
24.
for a top 16 place, he's withdrawn from a number of events, and he's also been beaten in several events where he's not been fully committed quite clearly. But he's been
25.
fully committed here in Berlin, and that's shone through in the results he's achieved.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got himself to blame for the fact that he is struggling in the rankings. I don't think anyone but O'Sullivan with his ability could have got himself into this mess, because
32.
most players, if they had anything like the ability O'Sullivan's got, would have been either probably the top half a dozen still, but you know, for reasons we've explained, it doesn't always turn up
33.
at tournaments.
And you know the old saying, Neil, the rankings don't lie. I think they do with him.
I was going to say that in this case it is a slight
40.
injustice, but as I say, you can't really do anything with someone that's going to not get points because they're not there. But he's certainly very much there in every sense of the word. day in Berlin. He's played so well throughout, and you know that he's got all the pedigree to go on and win this title. He's
46.
playing well. His game is still as good as just about anybody's, I would say. He'll tell you that he's getting old. He always says
47.
that he's past his best, but it's nonsense, that.
Well, let's bear in mind this is a man who first threatened to retire from the sport when he was 18, defending his UK Championship title in 1994. He lost to Ken Doherty in the quarter-finals and threatened to walk away. Ever since, at periodic intervals, he's been doing exactly the same. And remarkably, on each of those occasions,
53.
the press fall for it hook, line and sinker.
He's had a long, hard look at the scores about
54.
twice, and the reason he's doing so, this will be 28, this becomes 35 when this goes in. So red-black would mean he wouldn't need any of the last two reds. Personally, I think he'll take them anyway. I wouldn't be too worried about him getting on the black, because that left-hand red of the two near
61.
the cushion is very much gettable on. So I suspect playing on the black here would be complicating matters somewhat. What he does need
62.
is just one more red. Well, that's not a very good angle. In fact, there's no angle there. He keeps looking at that scoreboard. Now, is he going to just screw back directly, or is he going to play around two cushions? He's got a very slight angle. Here is frame ball.
68.
Good enough. And the sharpness which has taken him into this final appears to be still
76.
there.
Well, he launched his quarter-final not too well. Started off in the last 32,
84.
awfully, going 4-0 down against Andrew Higginson. But in the last 16 against Joe Perry, he made a century in the first frame. And that looks like being repeated here.
89.
Well, I think one thing you can say is that the great players of the game get better as the tournament goes on. Often players that are not used to being in the
93.
closing stages start well and fade. But Sullivan is one of the greats.
98.
Every seat sold. Every single person in the Templadrome loving that, apart from Stephen Maguire. Ronnie O'Sullivan off and running. 111 break in no time. He draws first blood. Frame 2 then.